And you don't equate having amazing sex at home to what you do as a profession, but it can go hand in hand and it can cross over, okay? Hello, beautiful lady. Yes, I am talking to you. It is Thursday, and you know what goes down here on Thursday. Wife Life with Dr. Gail goes down here on Thursday. So do me a huge favor. Make sure that you're hitting the subscribe button and the little bell right next to it so you will know when I go live.
We're bringing sexy back. We're bringing sexy back.
Let's get it started. Harder, won't you give it up?
And so tonight, I want to talk to you about either use it or lose it. What happens when you don't have regular sex, okay? So tonight, I am talking to the men and I am talking to the women because I get inundated by people who are in sexless marriages. And let me just give you a precursor. If you are having some medical conditions, if you are in a state where you're severely depressed and those kind of things, I am begging you to please go see your physician and get the help that you need, because in your marriage, this can cause a big, huge gap if you're not communicating what is going on with you physically and mentally with your spouse. You should be able to be 100% naked. And when I say naked, I'm talking about vulnerable with your spouse. Okay, so don't keep any of these things hidden and just disengage from having sex and just say, I don't feel it or whatever. Speak to them and give them the reason why. They at least deserve that. Okay, so for women, what happens to your body if you don't begin to engage in regular sex? And I have done many teachings on the benefits of sex for women and for men, but let me just tell you, this use it or lose it is real, okay? The first thing that happens for women when we begin to disengage is the vagina becomes very tight, okay? And the tissues will become very thin, okay? And so if you are not engaging in regular sex, the vagina begins to close off, okay? And when this happens, if and when you get ready to engage, it can be very painful for you because, again, it has not had any penetration, and so therefore the hole becomes a lot smaller, okay? Number two, if you don't engage in regular sex, when you do engage, if you're not using enough lubricant, what happens is you can develop tears in the vagina and you can begin to bleed profusely. Now, I'm giving you some things you're like, oh, Dr. Gail, that's so bad. I'm just trying to help you realize what engaging in regular sex can do for the body. And if you don't do it, what can happen to the body if you don't engage, okay? Number three, your immune system can become a lot weaker because, again, engaging in regular sex is good and it boosts your immune system. It can help you fight off flus and colds and viruses, all kind of different things, okay? Number four, your stress level is much higher because like I told you guys, engaging in regular sex is a form of exercise and it gives you a release, okay? And number five, you can become so sleepless. Your sleep patterns can be thrown off because, again, engaging in regular sex allows the body to relax and allows you to go into deep REM sleep more often. And number six, your vagina can become so dry because the body was created when you get ready to engage in sex the vagina becomes wet in order for you to engage. If you don't engage it has no reason to become moist, and therefore you can experience vaginal dryness on a regular basis, okay? Because your estrogen levels begin to fall, and that is something that helps with lubrication when you get ready to engage in sex. And number seven, it totally kills your libido. Because again, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Okay. So that's some of the things that can happen with a woman's body if she does not engage in regular sex. Okay. For men, the number one thing that can happen is that you can start developing signs of erectile dysfunction. And when you begin to develop signs of erectile dysfunction, does not mean that you're going to have it for a long period of time, but it can lead to that. And what happens is when you get ready to engage, you are not ready to arise to the occasion and you're not able to do so. And if you are, you're not able to sustain it. So again, if you don't engage in regular sex, that is one of the first signs that will begin to happen to your body, that you're not able to rise to the occasion. And if you do, you're not able to sustain it. Okay. Number 2, you're going to have some blood pressure spikes. For men, it is the release that helps regulate your blood pressure. And if you're a man that already has some form of high blood pressure and you're not engaging in regular sex, I'm going to say this to you. Either begin to masturbate, which a lot of men don't want to do. And I don't suggest that you do that if you are able to have a meaningful conversation with your wife and get her to be able to engage with you naturally. But if you are in a situation where you need a release in order to help to ward off erectile dysfunction and also regulate your blood pressure, I say do it. Okay. Number 3, it affects your self-esteem as a man, because most of the time your masculinity is tied to being able to perform and to please sexually. Okay. So you can say that it doesn't, but it does. It will affect your self-esteem if you're not getting regular sex. Okay. Number 4, you become more susceptible of getting prostate cancer, right? And it increases 40% every single year that you do not engage in regular sex. So hear me. If you're not getting regular sex, I would prefer that you begin to masturbate, because again, it can cause so many health problems in your body that you're not going to be able to ward off. Okay. Number 5, it causes you stress as well. You go to work, you're stressed, you come home, you're not getting that physical release and that physical touch you want in the bedroom. So you become more stressed out, just like your wife that is not engaged in. Okay. Number 6, you don't sleep well either, because again, having that release and that stress reliever on a regular basis, again, can interrupt your sleep and not allow you to go into REM sleep, whereas that's where the body repairs itself and you get rejuvenated. Okay. Number 7, it can cause you as a man to have very poor performance at work. And you don't equate having amazing sex at home to what you do as a profession, but it can go hand in hand and it can cross over. Okay. And so again, this is just a quick lesson on if you don't use it, you will lose it. And let me just tell you this for women and for men who are following me and watching this video. It can also increase cardiovascular disease in women and in men if you are not engaging in regular sex. Again, I'm talking to healthy people that have either decided for a woman to use her vagina as a weapon, that is walking in unforgiveness and has decided that she's going to close her legs to her husband, or I'm talking to a man that is cheating and doing other things that he's not supposed to be engaging in, like watching porn, because porn will kill your sex life as well and kill your libido as well as a man. So if you're depriving your wife of physical touch and intercourse because either you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing or you're engaging in porn, I say stop it, because again, this both can affect your heart as well. I love you guys to pieces. I am here every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. But before I go, if you would like to send this video or any of my videos to your spouse, but you don't want to be the one that sends it to them because you don't want to cause any problems or any strife in your marriage, do me a favor, click the link below and me or my staff will be happy to send any videos that you would like to your spouse to make sure that they get this information as well. I love you guys to pieces and I will see you next week.